We have Karen and Jeff right now in the waiting room. I'm so excited for you, Nelson, to meet our peeps that come every week.
Hi, Jeff.
Hi, Jeff.
Hi, Karen.
There we go. I know Karen doesn't have speaker abilities, but Karen, I love seeing when you post stuff in the chat.
Jeff, too.
Yeah. Jeff, I'm so excited. So Jeff's from the East Coast, Nelson.
Oh, okay.
And we just love, Jeff has been almost to every single one of our lunch and learns to date, this is our 76th.
Whoa.
And so has Karen.
Karen, yeah. And they each did a lunch and learn as well, which is awesome. So we love connecting with our East Coast peeps. We miss you, Jeff.
Thank you. Got to get back out there. And by the way, great job on the events you had this past weekend.
Oh, thank you. Did you see on Facebook? Was the Facebook post on the album? Did you see that yet?
On the TVIA?
Yeah.
I have not had a chance to look at it, but I will at some point. So.
Lupe is posting the albums today, so I'm excited to see all the pictures of everyone as well. But yeah, Jeff was such a huge help to me. He flew out to San Diego twice this last year just to help us put on our TVIA event, which was a pretty big event. We'd have like about 30 boys, a couple volunteers, and like 20 families. So, and there's Mr. Todd Hoff. Hi, Todd.
I think he's driving.
Yeah.
We'll have to involve him later.
Yeah, definitely. We'll have a Q&A at the end too. I'll just go ahead and get started and share my screen, and then I'll just welcome everybody as they come in. So hello, everyone. Happy Wednesday. Couple of Zoom rules. Please mute yourself when you're not speaking. We recommend speaker view for presentation. Video sharing is optional, though we love to see all your smiling faces. Please type all questions and comments into the chat. We'll have a Q&A at the end where you can also unmute yourself and ask any questions. That's my favorite part, where we get to do connections one-on-one with our guest speaker today. A quick update from Autism Tree. We've now reached over 675,000 people on all of our social media channels. This is since COVID happened in March of 2020. We've been tracking all of our social media numbers, and that is where that number came from. We have 75 lunch and learns, done 75 lunch and learns to date. Today is our 76th. And since January of just this year, we coordinated 53 events already, with 29 coming up for the rest of the year. That we add events constantly every month. So always check back to our website to see what's coming up. Right now, we have been able to pivot since COVID, all 19 of our 20 programs virtually, and now we have 5 going on in person. I have exciting news. Our musical play group will be back in person starting in May. So I'm so excited. Musical play group is music therapy for kids and their parents. And it's a very cute play group. We partner with the Music Therapy Center of California, and their music therapists run it for us, which is amazing. So definitely sign up for that if you haven't. Also, we have posted 449 impact videos on our YouTube channel now, which is amazing. And we just hit 200 subscribers, which I'm so happy about. We just hit that today. So thanks to everyone who subscribed. And if you haven't, you definitely should. And then we've also posted 388 of those videos that are on our YouTube channel since March 12th, which is incredible. So all of that is from our amazing volunteers who have submitted videos for our families to keep everybody feeling connected through the pandemic, and just growing our online community, which is amazing. So also a special thank you to our Lunch and Learn sponsor, Cal Able. CalAble is a financial savings and investment program through the state of California. And if you have a kid with a disability under the age of 26, you're eligible to open a CalAble account. In our recap email, we include this video as well as links to their monthly webinar series. Their next one is May 18th, which you can register as well. And so without further ado, I'll introduce Dana Hoff, who will be introducing our new guest speaker, Nelson Abalos Jr., who's a father. And go ahead and take it away, Dana.
Thank you, Rebecca. It's so fun to be here with all of you. And I just forgot that I didn't go to speaker view here. Okay, so I really love it that Rebecca does such a great job with recapping what's going on at Autism Tree. And just one thing that kind of stood out to me is the celebration of hitting 200 YouTube subscribers. And I know in the big world of YouTube, you know, that is a small number, but for what we're trying to do every single day at Autism Tree, this is what we are centered on, is our families. And I think it's such a blessing that Nelson is on this Lunch and Learn today, because him and his family are everything I'm talking about. It's centering right back on each family. We just came off doing our program managers meeting, and it's late this year. Normally we do it in February. And I just felt so much gratitude that Rebecca shared with everyone. We brought in 260 new families through our intake process, where a family comes to us and we're guiding them and navigating the system. Not everyone goes through that process, but these are families that went through that process. And so each number with Autism Tree is special. And the ones that I hold really deep are the actual families. The other thing that I'm personally really, really blessed by is how hard, and Jeff, you are part of this, have worked on the neuroscience conference. So last year during the pandemic was our first year we did all virtual neuroscience conference. We've been building on that conference basically since 2013. So we put a lot of work into building this platform. And when it was in person, that was like 400 people in that conference center. Well, now that we've taken the conference virtual, it is the first time we recorded it. And we get those numbers once a month now from UCTV on how many people have watched the recording of our neuroscience conference on the UCTV platform. And we just hit over 71,000 this month during National Autism Awareness Month. Yes, thank you. It means so much. It's, we're talking about neuroscience, and the numbers they say from like Dr. Motri and Roger Bingham, who are our chairman and moderator, that's a really, really good number of views on neuroscience speaking on that platform. And so it's right now it's over 10 countries that people participate from. So I just wanted to tell you how absolutely thrilled I am that we are always reaching out more through all of our platforms. But this platform right here, having Nelson on today, is everything about what we're focused on at Autism Tree every single day right now. And that is the families, one family at a time, that we've been serving since 2013. It's just a joy to get to know Nelson. Rebecca and I went and spent time with Nelson earlier this year, and I just wanted to be able to thank him for redoing our website. And I was telling him on the pre-call that I still carry with me each day the joy and the things that he does with his little girl are really next level. When you watch the video of him with his daughter, that we share this with our board members. I've watched it so many times because it just lights me up on, this is why we do what we do. And I'm so excited for you to all get to know Nelson today. This is a little video of what Nelson does with his daughter each morning before they get going out the door.
I am big. I am slide. I am big. kind. I am. Yeah. Yes. Let's go.
Nelson, I just can't think of any better way to introduce you than to say how much we all love that video. You're just one of a kind, and the way you treat your daughter is, it's such an inspiration. I don't even like using that word. It feels like watered down and boring for what you're doing for her. It's just, I can't wait to see her life as she develops, because it's so beautiful. And I'm not sure if Todd is on here. I can't see him.
Still is.
Todd, are you able to talk, or are you driving? So I was going to let him say hi to you, Nelson, before we start, but it might not be possible. But he is on here.
Donnie, can you hear me?
Yeah, now we can.
There we go. Great. Hey, Nelson, what a treat. I'm a Supernova fan, not just a Nova fan. We did similar rituals in our house for Dana and Garrett, just to, put the positive affirmation in everything that you do. Otherwise, it can be overwhelming, right? And we joke around that sometimes denial is the best medicine, but leading with positive energy. I know Dana's going to ask you to do something unique at the end of the call as well today, but your personal energy in rebuilding the website, your leadership with your daughter could not miss today's call. So I just want to say thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for that.
I love it. So Nelson, why don't you go ahead and just say a few words about yourself, or anything that you want to reflect on before we hop in the interview.
Yeah. So so I'm a nerd. So my occupation is, my title is Senior Product Evangelist over at Webflow. And Webflow is a professional web design tool to help empower everyone to build for the web. And I've been playing around with coding websites back when I was 13. And at that time, I was just like, wow, this is amazing that I can build something on the internet back in the America Online days. I don't know if anyone remembers those, and the floppy disk with like free 5 hours of internet. Just put it in your computer. Yeah. So back in those days, right? And that curiosity of like, oh, it's like a puzzle. It's a different language. Let me put it together. Just stayed with me into high school. I got to the point where I was like, how come no one else here in high school makes websites? Like, this is the coolest thing ever. No one teaches it. There's no group here at high school about it. You know what? I'm going to teach it myself. And I told my computer lab teacher, hey, can I take over the class and just show them how to make a website? I'm writing code on the dry erase board. And the teacher said, yeah, sure, show them. And fast forward 20 or so years later, I'm doing exactly that. I help teach people how to make websites using the platform Webflow, which is a company I work for. And it's just amazing, because it's that soul's paycheck whenever I teach someone something and they're like, oh, they have that aha moment. And then next thing you know, they use that moment to learn something else, and then they've created a whole new career for themselves, or so many doors of opportunity open up to the point where they're so much better off. That's the kind of stuff that I continually search for in my life. How can I empower someone else? How can I inspire someone else with the skills that I've learned? Because it shouldn't just be me hoarding this knowledge. No, it needs to be given out. And that is why I rebuilt the website, because like I started to realize that my side business was growing more and more. And I was like, I shouldn't have all these I shouldn't have these funds. It's not mine to keep. It's not mine to hoard. I need to start donating more of it rather than keeping it. It's not, to me, it's not fair. And so I gave a donation, and I used that as a way to say, hey, I saw your website is kind of messy. Can I clean it up for you a bit? And that's what I did. And again, it's like it's this thing of when you give to the universe will give back to you twice as much. But
Mhm.
then there's the harder part of you need to give back twice as much. And then you get 4 times, then give back 4. You get 8, 16, and exponential. And as long as you're giving back as much or more than the universe is giving to you, the universe will
Provide.
repay you in kind. And that's what I truly believe in, and that's what I keep moving forward with. No matter who I meet, I want to make sure that I I just give them some sense of knowledge, empowerment, or value in our conversations.
Mm, Nelson, I loved it. Did you say soul's paycheck? Is that what?
Yes, yes, because
I
I
love-
mean, you the kid who dies, or sorry, ooh, that's bad. The person who dies with all the toys still dies. You don't get to bring the toys with you. It's it's what you give, it's what you receive in your soul. You can't put a monetary amount on it. You can't put anything on it. And that's how I always feel.
Yeah, it's not materialistic. It comes from
Exactly.
the heart and the soul. And I love that, Dana and I say it's the heart connections that we make every single day with our families. And I love, thank you. Everything that you said was so beautiful. And now I'm so happy to share and have, share you with our community as an intro, because you can see why we love Nelson, and we just immediately gravitated towards him. And it was such a surreal experience. Nelson was like kind of an angel who came out of like the universe for Autism Tree at this time, because we were like thinking about, we really want to make our website mobile friendly for a long time, and we've never been able to afford it, and it costs a lot of money for people to rebuild websites. And Nelson donated his time and effort, and his team, Melissa, who was incredible as well to work with, and just everybody was. It was incredible to work with you, Nelson, and then to have you give as a donation, and because you have a daughter who was just diagnosed, it just felt meant to be. We're meant to be a part of your family, and so let's talk a little bit about that and your journey navigating since Nova was diagnosed. So. Why don't you tell us a little bit before what life was like right before Nova was diagnosed, like leading up to the diagnosis? And yeah, why don't you start with that?
Yeah. So like even before Nova was born, when Jessica, my wife, was pregnant, I wanted to document everything. I wanted to record, take pictures of what's life before Nova. And as I record and just learn through the whole pregnancy process and then labor and birth, I realize women are strong. Oh my gosh. I mean, I cannot imagine organs shifting within 9 months and having to carry a baby within you and then having to give birth. And I was there through the whole process. I was holding my wife's leg, the right side leg. Yes. And I'm like, I have so much gratitude for what women have to go through to make life. And that is, whoa. Okay. So that part. Okay. And so learning through that, I started to learn more empathy because my wife went through postpartum depression, and I start my way of thinking back then was, oh, there's a problem, I gotta fix it. And being like a computer nerd, whenever there's a bug on the computer, on the website, oh, I gotta fix it right away for my client. I gotta fix it right away. I gotta fix it right away. And it was a hard thing to go through because my mindset was, oh, she has a problem. How do I fix it? How do I fix it? Okay, let me give her options. Let me give her options. But the more options I started to bombard her with, the more she's like, stop trying to fix me. And it took it took many arguments, but finally it hit me, and I have to trust. I have to trust that she will find a way out. I do not give solutions, I give support, whatever she needs. And once I realized that, I started to be more empathetic, more understanding of like, hey, you know what? I don't know what it's like to be in your shoes. I don't know what it's like to be in your mind. I don't know what it's like in your exact life because I've never went through that whole journey. I can only see it from outside. But if I can just give you support and whatever you need, then I will do that. Because when you trust someone, when you want to show someone so much care, you can go overboard and care too much. But what you need to do is, what I've learned is just show that you care. And even if arguments happen, just show that you care. And if that other person says, hey, I need help, that's when you step in. But that is the hardest part for the other person, to ask for help. That's the hardest part for anyone, to admit, I need help. And when someone asks that, that's when you step in. I was like, okay, what can we do together to help? Okay, like, do you need to go to therapy? Do you need? And so many things. What can I do to help rather than giving solutions? Then Nova was born, and that whole process, no sleep and all that stuff. But we noticed that Nova, something was a little off, and so we decided to get her diagnosed. And after she was diagnosed, I was like, cool, okay, cool, she's autistic. All right, so now we have access to all these things, we have more tools, cool. But my wife took it as, oh no, it's my fault. Oh, I wasn't a good mother, or like, and I had to reinforce her, say, it's not your fault. Nothing is wrong with her. She is perfectly imperfect. Perfectly imperfect. It is not your fault. She's gonna be fine when she grows up. She's gonna be fine because we're giving her the tools now rather than waiting later. And we've heard some stories where some parents don't want to accept that, oh no, they're not autistic, no, they're not autistic, no. And even if they're diagnosed, no, nothing's right, like denying it. And it's like, it is a superpower, because when I see her, as I watch her grow, yeah, she doesn't speak well. It's hard for her to convey her feelings, what she wants or what she needs. But we have therapy for that, and she's gonna learn. But ever since she was 3, she was already reading. She knew the alphabet, even if you scramble it up. She knows numbers 1 through 100. There is a superpower within her. So it's just a balance, and kids will grow and they will learn. And it's not like, one of the things I had to learn too, when I had to make sure to keep my mind in check, is stop comparing her to other kids. Our good friends had a child, and we have to stop ourselves from saying, oh, he can do this, and he's already talking, and he's eating all these things while Nova's picky, eating other things and all this stuff. No, Nova's Nova, and she will grow. And we're not going to compare it to anyone. We're not going to say, oh, she's slower than others or she's faster. No, everyone has their part, and we're going to all grow, and we're going to help her grow in her own path. And as I watch her grow, I realize more and more, am I autistic? I think so. Because there's so many things about her that I'm like, I used to do that as a kid. My parents would get mad whenever I don't respond, and I'm asking, and they're saying, "Hey, my middle name's Jing, so my home name, Jing. Hey, Jing," and I don't respond because my whole focus was on this cartoon or something, and then we do the same thing with Nova. Hey, Nova, Nova, no, and she doesn't respond, and I'm like, huh. And other things. And I think my parents, first generation to come from Philippines, um, gratitude to them and having to learn English and then understand life in the United States and whatnot, and then support autistic me. The autism wasn't a thing back in the 80s. No one knew what it was. And so, um,
Yeah, their only reference was Rain Man or
yeah.
the only one.
So I feel like, as I'm watching Nova grow and I'm going through the therapies and learning from the therapist, isn't everyone a little bit autistic? Okay, done. Cool. Let's move on. It's not a bad thing.
I think that's you wouldn't believe how many parents I have now coming up to me and saying that they think that they're neurodiverse in some way as well. And I think it's so fascinating. And that's why I think we're gravitating from like autism acceptance and or awareness, which is really important, still, and we continue to do that to this day. But I think a lot of people are gravitating from awareness now to acceptance. So yeah, if we are neurodiverse, now what? What can we do to make sure that everybody's feeling accepted and included in our society? And yeah, that's amazing. I love how you talked about, supporting your wife through, her postpartum depression and also after Nova's diagnosis and how you guys navigated that together. I think it's so important, early intervention, obviously, but anyways, I wanted to, how old was Nova when she was diagnosed?
2.
She was 2. Okay. Which is wonderful. What therapies is she doing now, and what do you see is being most effective?
OT and speech are the main ones. Because speech, it's hard for her to explain to us. She can't answer open-ended questions, but I ask her every day. I pick her up from school. How was your day? No response. That's totally fine. What did you do in school? No response. That's fine. But I'm still talking to her. And then I'll throw her the easy ones like, are you happy or sad? Happy. Okay. Did you see your friend Hunter today? Yes. Did you see Vivian? Yes. And so I know I'll have a conversation with her. Oh, I'm gonna tear up a little because that's what I've been waiting for. I want to have a conversation with her just so I can explain things and understand where she's coming from. Like I want to ask her, hey, what's the story in your head? You're doing pretend play right now. What's going on through your head? I would love to be part of that story or understand that story, but right now I can't. And so that's what I'm waiting for, because once we have open-ended conversations, I want to tell her about the world. I want to tell her about the stars. I want to tell her about the universe and how it's so beautiful when people come together, and it's just so amazing. But I have to wait, and it's hard to be patient, but yeah, that's what I'm waiting for.
Yeah. Are there any other ways that you notice that she communicates with you? I want to give an example. We've had a lot of, we've met Walter Susskind, which I would love I'll send you his Lunch and Learn, but he's a sibling. His father wrote a book. Gosh, Dina, I'm blanking on the name of it. And you have
it's called Life Animated.
Yes, Life Animated. It's also a documentary, and it's based on their family. And Walter's brother, Owen, has autism. And Owen, they realized at a certain age that he communicated, it was more effective to communicate with him through Disney movies and Disney lines. And so he would recite the Disney lines script back to them. And that's how they were able to communicate. Is there things like certain actions or even, something that where Nova is communicated to you in a different way that might not be direct speech, but have you noticed any of that?
I mean, how she communicates is like, if she really wants something, she'll tell us. Like Legoland, Lola's house, and we're like, no, we're going to school. No, Legoland. So that kind of communication,
Yeah.
but I mean, there's no other types of communication. I mean, she likes to sing sometimes, but I see a little bit of me because, well, obviously me and my wife, because whenever I am super focused on a certain task, that's all I see. And that's all I focus on. And I don't say anything. I'm locked in my head and I'm working because that is like a happy place,
Mhm.
And so when she's playing with her Lego or she's playing with her food toys, she's locked in and I get it. So when it comes to communication, it's still something we're trying to figure out.
Mhm. At least she's in a state of flow whenever she does those activities.
Yes, that.
Mhm. I love that. Can you share us a story of something that you've celebrated, one of Nova's wins of progress that she's made since the diagnosis?
Oh, yeah. I mean, talking to us, it used to be, it went from just whining and crying because she couldn't tell us that she was hungry. She couldn't tell us what exactly she wanted. So we had the list in our head, like, okay, is it this, 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 this? And then it graduated to one word, then two words. And then when I took her downstairs one morning, she woke up early and I brought her downstairs and we just laid on the couch. I thought, okay, I'm gonna put her back to sleep. It's still 5 a.m. She still has like an hour and a half before we have to start getting ready for school. And she said 5 words, and it was the first time I've heard 5 words. Turn on light, daddy, please. And I'm like, okay, yeah, we can play early. Yeah, sure, why not? Yeah, let's turn on the light. And
Wow.
I was just like, people think that's yeah, I mean, kids will talk. No, kids will talk. No, those 5 words. Yes, celebrate. Yeah, let's play. And yeah, that was an amazing part. But like more and more she's talking in more phrases, and yeah, I'm loving it.
Mm. I love that. What other activities do you do as a family together that she really enjoys?
I mean, Fridays we try to celebrate the end of the week. And so loves going out to restaurants with us. And her grandparents cook a lot. And so she loves playing with cooking toys. And so it kind of shows that because like with her cooking and when she's playing with her kitchen play set and her food toys, she's all saying, hello, would you like to order? And then thank you, enjoy. And I'm like, oh man, we go out a lot. But not only that, yeah, Sky Zone, the trampoline park here in San Diego, Legoland, just yeah, just anything we can do. Even if it's as little as going to the local mall here called North County Mall, and there's like an electric train that goes around the mall. and she loves that. I mean, the employee there, he knows us by heart already, and we're like, hello again. And she just loves riding trains, and yeah.
Oh, I love that. I loved going over to your house and seeing all the Lego Star Wars collections that you guys have made together. And she loves Legos and trains. That's awesome.
Mm.
Just developing her interests and is so important.
Yeah.
Why don't you tell me more about your wife? I love
Mm.
every time you talk about your wife. I mean, it's just everything. You're just speak with her. She's just an incredible woman. I can tell.
Mm.
And she's like a marathon runner. And
I mean, yeah, she is such a strong person and a super honest person. And I appreciate that, because everyone, you need honesty in your life. And to have an honest significant other helps so much, because a lot of my life, I didn't want to look in the mirror and see the faults in myself. Not many people do, but to have someone call you out is a good thing, but call you out in a way that's constructive, honest, because they know you can do better.
Mhm.
They're not calling you out just because, like, oh, you look ugly, you look ugly today. Or, you know what? Like, if it'd be cool if you like fixed your hair, if you fix your hair in this sort of way, and then see how that makes you feel. Stuff like that, where you're like, oh god, that kind of hit me. I'm like, yeah, my hair is bad, but yeah, let me try something. Oh wow, if I fix myself up, I get more confidence. And she's taught me that brutal honesty, and I give it back to her in a way that helps build her up. And there's that one point of strength, but the other strongest point was when she went through postpartum depression. Uh, Postpartum depression, feeling like her parents don't think she's a good enough parent, and her business with her business partner was not making any money, and just things were going down, 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 down. And finally, like, I know for women you're not supposed to talk about weight, but she went from like 178 at the peak, and then found a women only gym through Facebook, and said, you know what, I'm just gonna go and see. From that point all the way down to 145, and running a 50K, that's 31.2 miles or something, trail ultra marathon up Black Mountain here in San Diego
Wow.
in the course of 9 hours and 40 something minutes.
So
And
impressive.
yeah, and that is a strong woman. I was watching her, and during that time, a month before the ultra marathon race, she got a job offer as a creative director where she is right now. So it just, she accepted the lowest point, and it accepted the greatest change in her life. And I wanted to help support that 110%. And it just shows how strong she is.
Mhm.
And when a daughter sees the strength in her mother, it's going to show her that the path is wide open for her, and to follow, not in those footsteps, but her own footsteps, using that as a stepping stool to learn from.
Mhm. You mentioned that she's a creative director. She works too, obviously.
Yeah.
Very busy woman. So how do you, can you elaborate on how you take care of and balance taking care of Nova?
Yeah. I mean, everything we try to do in our relationship 50-50. If someone is going through a rough time at work, then we try to the other person would try to help and support as much as possible, and then vice versa. And when there's times when it's just like we're both happy, then we're splitting whatever chores and whatever things we need to do for Nova. Um, and it's usually like we bring her to school, and then we're both at work, and then pick her up from school, and then we just have family time at the end of the day. So kind of basic, but obviously there's times when we have to stay late at work, or we have some work we have to do at night, and that's where the support, one person has to eat with Nova while the other person is doing work during dinner time. And it's the life that we've chosen for our careers, and we're very career oriented. And again, for women, watching Nova growing up and watching Jessica having to choose between, do I be a career woman or do I be a mom? I've always felt like that's unfair. Why can't you be both? And so she had to balance that. And I'm not going to speak for her, but she has found a way to balance that life. And yeah, I think that's very strong.
Yeah, definitely. I think there's a lot of moms, autism moms, who have to quit their jobs depending on, because they drive their kids to therapies all over the county, and it's a real struggle. They have to give up a lot. And so to make time for themselves is really important. And I love that, Jessica is like an example of she's doing it. She's doing it,
Yeah.
working really hard on.
But I mean, we are very fortunate to have jobs that are remote. Sure, I'm in a studio right now, but most of my time I'm at home working on scripts and planning for the next live stream. So that part is where we're fortunate. There's other people who don't have that flexibility, and that those people are super strong for taking the time to drive and stay in traffic and do what they think is right for their kids, because that life of traffic is, that's society for you. But wish it was better.
Yeah. If you could go back in time and talk to yourself when Nova first got diagnosed, what words of wisdom would you share with yourself?
If I went back in time, and honestly, I wouldn't say anything, because everything I've learned and gone through, I'm super grateful for it. All the arguments, the confusion, the sleepless nights, it's all learning opportunities. It's how we grow. And I wouldn't tell myself anything. If I went back in time and saw me, I'd be like, nah, not gonna say a word. Not gonna say a word. Because if I said something, now are we talking like Avengers Endgame, or are we talking Back to the Future? Like what kind of time travel? No, yeah, I wouldn't say anything, because like, yeah. So I'm going around in circles. But
No, yeah.
but what I do for my daughter though is, and I told you and Dana this, but I want everyone else to hear this. I got this idea from an old Super Bowl commercial by Google, and the commercial had this father who was using Gmail as a way to email his daughter while she was growing up, even as a baby. Obviously, the baby can't read, but he's using it as a time capsule. And I'm like, oh my God, that's a great idea. And so I've been doing that ever since before she was born. I was taking videos of the old condo as we're moving out, saying, hey, you'll never see this condo, but we're moving out and we're going to a home that we finally got, and it's for you. And can't wait for you to see it. And so I'm writing emails, sending her videos in this email inbox. And it's kind of like a diary or a journal. And I'm writing all the things that we're going through. I'm writing all the hardships that her mom has went through, that I've went through, like everything. So by the time she's 16, I can give her the email address and password for her birthday and be like, here you go, read it whenever you want, but this is what we've been going through. And hopefully there's some life lessons that you can learn from what we've learned that you can use as a way to step on top of and build your own future. Because a lot of stuff that, I wish I grew up with that knowledge, as with any type of stepping stone into this world. And so if my parents didn't do that, oh, I'm going to do that for my daughter. I'm going to give her every opportunity I can so that she can choose a path that not only empowers herself, but empowers herself to empower others to go even higher than her. And like our CEO of Webflow says, a rising tide lifts all ships.
Oh, I love that. That's beautiful. You're so inspiring, Nelson.
There's some there's comments in the chat. Do you want me to?
Yeah. So Karen, I'll read what Karen says. Karen said, Nelson, I'm a huge fan. You are truly a gift from God. You blessed me beyond measure today. Thank you for sharing your truth. You will help countless people with your Lunch and Learn. And Karen is our director of prayer ministry. So she helps us whenever a family is going through a crisis, a really hard time. I'd say I take all the phone calls from these new families, and I'd say 50% are calling, to enter our events and programs. Maybe 30% are calling for resources. And then there's like 20% that are families who are in crisis, who are, their kid is going through a really hard time. And that's when I call Karen, and Karen envelops them with love and just listens. And I think that's one of the things you touched upon, which I love, how you were talking with how you support your wife, is how you might not have, we might not have the answer to the problem as well. And sometimes that's not what they need. They don't need a solution.
Yep. That's what my wife said. She said, I just need you to listen to me and don't say anything. Just listen. And during our argument, and that's when, it started to hit me more. I'm like, people just need to vent. People just need to talk to someone. They don't need a solution at that moment. They just need to get it out. Because if it's just stuck inside, then it becomes like a volcano. Yeah. And thank you, Karen, for the compliments. I mean, yeah, you're doing wonderful things too. I mean, listening is hard. And I'm learning that every day. Listening is hard. So thank you.
Creating this space for one another. I think there's not a lot of, everybody, especially during the pandemic, after the pandemic, everybody was kind of stressed and burnt out and tired and dealing with mental health issues. And to have people who make space for each other and have a safe space to vent about anything is really important. That's how we support our families, just how you supported your wife. And we meet them where they're at and just envelop them with love. So I love that we're so aligned in that. And then Jeff Snyder, he said, Nelson, have you ever introduced your daughter to Thomas the Tank Engine?
Yes, that she went through a long phase of Thomas. I mean, we got the trains. She collected all the different character train toys. Recently she stopped playing with them, but during that phase, they had this. Thomas had this Christmas album, and we played it for 6 months straight whenever we're in the car. I mean, that's all she wanted to listen to. Thomas daddy, Thomas music daddy, please. And I'm like, okay. But yeah, she's always, ever since I can remember, she's always been fascinated with wheels, and she'd be playing with wheels. And I'm like, you're gonna be an engineer? what is it? And now she's playing with food, and I'm like, ooh, are you gonna be like a modern, I don't know, making different types of food or making up some restaurant that creates food in different ways? I'm just so excited to see her grow and just see what all this leads to, because yeah, she is a supernova.
Mhm.
I love it so much. Well, we have about 10 minutes left, so I want to open it to anybody else who wants to say hi to Nelson and connect on this phone call. Feel free to unmute yourself. I know Lupe's here. Hi, Lupe. She's our newest full-time employee, our new program coordinator.
Yay,
Hi, Nelson.
welcome.
I've heard great things about you and your daughter, and that video, I've seen that video many times, and it's always like nice seeing it. It's like a good motivation.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, again, as in growing up, I didn't have those tools to help me with my life. I've always been that short 4'11" Asian weak weak kid in high school who hasn't gone through puberty um eh, until graduation. So like no confidence whatsoever. But if I had the tools to continually tell myself that everything's going to be okay and that I'm beautiful, I'm brave, I'm smart, I'm kind, if I told myself that every day, how earlier would I have been able to help empower other people to do the same? But life has a path, and so I'm able to give that to my daughter. And I hope that you all, even if you're, I mean, we're all adults here, and it may feel weird if you're not doing it today. Say it to yourself in the mirror. It'll be weird at first, but everything is weird at first. I mean, no one learns how to walk immediately. You got to crawl and you got to stumble, you got to fall, but then you'll walk. And so when you put that confidence inside of you, saying that you're all for those things and more, the world opens up so much to you. And yeah, that's why I'm trying to tell her that, tell her to say that every day. And it would be beautiful to hear, like, she's 28 or something, she's moved out, or she's 34 with a kid, and she calls me up one day and says, Dad, I still do those mantras to this day. And I'd be like, oh, that's what I'm hoping.
Yeah. Affirmations work for a lot of people, and words matter.
Yes.
The words that we tell ourselves every day
Yes.
build each other up. So I love that you started that so early. Is there anyone else who wants to say hi? I think.
Jeff linked his website.
Oh
Feel
yeah.
free to check out Going the Distance. Okay, I have it on my screen. I'll check it out.
Chef was featured in a book,
Cool.
which we can share in the recap email. Oh, Nelson, we send a recap email to our whole Lunch and Learn database with any resources from our guest speaker. So if you have anything in particular you'd like to share with our community, let me know.
Nothing at this time. Just,
Well,
sharing the love.
yeah, I want to share a little bit about you. When I originally got the donation from you, it came through Pixel Geek. And I was like, what is Pixel Geek? And so I Googled it, and Nelson is the founder of Pixel Geek, and he has which is a YouTube channel. And he has over 10,000 subscribers on YouTube.
15.
And when I saw that, I was like, who is this person? They reached out to us organically. And then we got the email that he wants to do our website. And it was just so surreal. But yeah, we can feature some of your, videos. That's why he's got the great setup, everyone.
I mean, the videos is all about, my videos are all about teaching how to use Webflow and make websites and stuff like that. If you want to share that, it's totally fine. not sure how many web designers you have in your family, but if it'll help them and empower them to use Webflow and help me keep employed. Yeah.
That's awesome. But yeah, I love Jeff, thanks for sharing your book, that you were featured in a book. And do you want to share a little bit more about that and how you got involved in it, Jeff?
Well, in 2020, I was featured on a podcast called Ask an Autistic, and that was hosted by Jessica Leitchwise. And she was based in New Jersey, but now is based in Arizona. And her and another member of the panel, Aiden Allman Cooper, asked us to write a book, asked us to contribute to a book that they were creating called This Is Autism. And we first published it in August 2020, myself and about 11 other people on the spectrum. We all shared our stories about, growing up on the autism spectrum and offer some tidbits. So I've handed out about 20 copies over the past 2 years since we published it. And if you're interested, you could order a copy, and I could sign it for you the next time I come out to San Diego.
Yeah.
And Dana, before I forget, thank you for your condolences on the loss of my colleague, David Sharif.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, do you want to say a few words of David? We send our love to you and him and his family.
Yes, David was my colleague at Global Autism Project for about a year, and very well-known self-advocate, did a lot of world traveling, and he graduated from Pace University and was valedictorian of his graduating class. And he unfortunately passed away from a seizure on Saturday, and we didn't know till Monday. So it was it's a tough time right now for the community. But thanks guys for your condolences.
Yeah, let's make sure, Jeff, this year with our neuroscience conference, maybe we can dedicate it to him, especially because seizures, that's what Neurocredit, our past sponsor, that's what they're also getting involved in, is seizure drugs. So I mean, it's just a small world, and seizures, are caused by electrical storms in the brain. I used to sell a seizure drug. So I don't know, it's just something we could consider somehow a way to honor him, that maybe this year. I'll let you think about that, but if you want that, I welcome that. We'll just see what makes sense. It's all too early in our conferences until November. But we always do try. Oh, Nelson bought your book, Jeff.
Thank you, Nelson.
I feel very thankful that we don't lose a lot of people in our community. So it's just something that when we do, I'm always open to how can we honor the work that he's done, his family, anything that you think might make sense, Jeff, I'm open to.
Thank you, Dana.
Yeah.
Sorry. I want to bring back attention to what's happening in the chat. Todd, you put, Nelson, you're wise beyond your years and you're a great role model for our HPF parents. I agree.
Yeah, if I could just jump in, Nelson, I got to tell you, it's delightful to meet you. It's so refreshing to hear your story. You obviously are wired with a very positive core. I can tell you how many, mothers and fathers I've talked to over the years that, take the diagnosis as a, all my dreams are crushed and what am I going to do? And you just immediately, have jumped in with your daughter, even with your wife's crisis. I mean, postpartum is a serious issue in America that has not been handled well. And I just got to tell you, everything you're saying is just, you're pulling all the right punches at all the right time. Doesn't mean that it comes out perfect, but you're putting yourself in such a great perspective with your daughter. You know, the question that Rebecca had posed to you about, you know, going back in time, what would you have done different? I sat there. For Garrett, I didn't want to document anything. I wanted him to be this kid. I didn't want him to be a guinea pig. And now in hindsight, I wish I had more video and documentation of his challenge, because now I got a kid that's going into law school. It's like, how did this all happen? It's just a miracle. So your emails to her, it's just delightful. I mean, that's such a precious gift that she's going to have down the road. So again, I'm just a big fan. Keep charging up that supernova. She's gonna change the world for us. Thank you for this afternoon.
You're welcome. And that whole thing about perfection, and I've said it about Nova, how she's imperfectly perfect in that moment of, oh, she's autistic. Cool, moving on, right? Because perfection is a lie that society puts on people for some reason. And it dawned on me, I don't know, when I hit like 32 or 34 or something, those who perceive themselves as perfect are the least perfect people. Those who are progressing towards perfection, knowing that they'll never be perfect, are the most perfect. And so everything we see, like Hollywood and then magazines and whatnot, and now Instagram and social media, everyone's highlight reel is perfect. And I don't believe those for 1 second. And so when I see my daughter and she got diagnosed, or whenever I meet someone and they have a weird quirk, I love that, because that is an imperfect person. And I want to get to know them more, because they have better stories than a person who says, I'm the most perfect person in the world. Cool. You have nothing new to learn in this life. I don't want to talk to you.
I love it. I love your growth mindset, and it's refreshing. Thank you. Thanks
you
for being on today. I mean, I'm going to share this with a lot of new parents, and we'll use it as a resource. So.
Nelson's going to lead us in a how to take a picture exercise that he did with Rebecca and I when he met us. We always do a picture at the end, but we're going to do it different. We're going to learn from Nelson.
Okay. So I've learned this thing from Oprah that my wife told me when she was watching her reruns. When you take a picture, don't say cheese, say yay, and keep that open mouth of yay. And that is a bigger smile, and that takes wonderful photos. So if you want to do it with me, we can say yay. So I don't know who's going to count down and take the photo, but
Laura, do you want to show your face?
I'd love to see you, Laura. Oh, and also Laura,
Hi, Laura.
Hi.
Hi.
Trying to hide.
We don't want to miss this opportunity for you to participate with Nelson.
Yay. It sounds great.
Laura, Nelson, just so you know, Laura is one of our most dedicated volunteers, and she has a daughter, Chloe, who's on the spectrum as well, who's in her teens, right?
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she just turned 20.
Oh, wow. She's
I
20
know.
years old. Oh my gosh. Time
I
flies.
love that name, Chloe.
Well, wonderful. Okay, I'll do the countdown. So, and then I'll do 1, 2, 3, and then yay.
Yes.
Okay. 1, 2, 3.
Yay.
Should we do it one more time and everybody do their hands? Nelson, do it. Everyone watch Nelson do it. Okay.
Yay.
Okay, do it one more time. We could do better. I could do better.
Okay, let's try again.
Okay.
1, 2, 3.
Yay.
I had to take the picture. So. That worked.
We're still going to keep working on it, Nelson.
I'm glad. I'm glad.
Thank you, Nelson. This was such a perfect day today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all so much. Wonderful. You're wonderful people and wonderful organization. And I can't wait to meet more of you in person. The whole music therapy thing, Nova is definitely into music, and now that it's in person and she can get her full focus on it, I am really interested in that. So I'm going to the website to take a look.
Okay. Yeah.
Yay. I think she'd like the dance groups too, Nelson.
Okay.
Yeah.
Our
Thank
next
you.
session. We'll start.
Okay. Thank you, everybody. Have a beautiful day.
Take care, guys.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great week.
Bye.
Bye.